And now time for another check of your weather forecast, Brittany. Thankfully, the weather didn't impact the game, but you are keeping us weather alert for possible impacts this evening.
Yeah, and I think the storms will continue. Really quick before we get into the storms, I wanted to point this out. If you guys remember, we were talking last weekend about how we probably were not going to see another 90-degree day, but then temperatures were warming up quickly, and so our forecast actually jumped to 90 for today. Well, rain cooled air at the exact time at the airport officially kept our high at 89. So yes, we did have one more warm stretch, but both yesterday and today hit 89, which means still technically haven't seen another 90-degree day and probably won't before the end of the year, just based on that average of September 12th. But fingers crossed if you're a fan of fall like myself, and maybe not so much if you want another taste of summer. Of course, if that changes, we'll certainly let you know. Here's what's happening outside right now. There's a cold front over the Charlotte area that expands all the way into northern Alabama, Mississippi, and Georgia. Closer to home, of course, it has prompted these storms we've been tracking for hours now. Most of the storms developing after 2 o'clock as expected, but really the bulk of the moisture over Charlotte about an hour and a half ago, right around 4:35, was actually not in the cards. We were expecting it to be pretty much right now. So with that being said, that is a good thing for folks who want to be out and about this evening. So earlier rain and storms typically means rain cooled air. So for example, if these same storms that are trying to push into western Cleveland County near Shelby right now were to try to make it closer to Charlotte, rain cooled air has already happened, the temperature has already dropped, and that lacks instability, which means lesser chance for storms, versus this severe thunderstorm warning that's near Union, South Carolina. If it can hold together, making its way into Chester County, very likely would still be causing storms because those areas haven't seen any rain so far today. Here's the current situation if you're in Union County. You can see the rain is moving out very, very quickly. It's weakening substantially now with only light to moderate rain. But if you are in this vicinity, we're looking at Wingate right around 6:45, give or take a few minutes. Marshville, Norwood right around 7 o'clock. And you can see Lowry's and Mount Gilead between about 7:15 and 7:30. Lots of rain if you're in eastern Lincoln County, eastern Catawba, and up toward Iredell and Rowan, but not a lot of thunderstorms there. A few strikes there in Rowan County near Salisbury, but again, not much more than that. And then again, here's that severe thunderstorm warning. If it can hold together, it would be causing some issues for western and southwestern York as well as western Chester, because again, those areas have not seen storms just yet. But look how the rest of the evening plays out. We are mostly dry by 9. You can see 11 o'clock, most areas completely clear. We stay pretty cloudy overnight, and so I'm keeping that 20% chance of rain in, mainly for light rain and patchy drizzle tomorrow morning. Sunshine mixes in as we become mostly cloudy in the afternoon, and that'll be about the same time that dew points start to drop. This time tomorrow, smiles are returning, and then eventually by Monday, it feels significantly fall-like with lots of low humidity and temperatures dropping off as well into the 70s. And speaking of temperatures, after today, we'll stay at, if not slightly below average over the next week. So a nice little taste of fall, especially Monday and Tuesday. I'm not trying to leave Sunday out, but a lot of that 70s has to do with not just the cold front, but the fact that it's going to be cloudy. So it's still pretty humid to start off Sunday. So Monday and Tuesday probably going to be my picks of the week. Quick update on what's happening in the tropics. We talked about this last night on WCNC and of course on WCNC Plus as well. Low pressure there, tropical wave in the Atlantic Basin has now dropped to only 30% chance of development. It's encountering a lot of dry air, which has hindered its strengthening. Does that mean that it will never strengthen? Not necessarily, but at least in the near term, we're not expecting a storm or a tropical depression over the next 7 days. Here's your local 7-day forecast. Again, 20% chance of rain tomorrow, mainly in the morning with clouds, and then the rest of the week looks pretty great with temperatures in the upper 70s Monday, Tuesday, and lows in the 50s.